My understanding was that the previous vendor would call individuals on their list, get the voicemail, and look, I think we all understand this. In the era of spoofing and spam calls, people aren't always likely to pick up. However, I then further read that the latest vendor, Insight Global, had a problem with internet-based phones where they could call out, but they couldn't receive phone calls back when they were doing the contact tracing with the COVID-19 positive individuals. Now, for this credit monitoring services, if over 72,000 Pennsylvanians have been potentially had their personal information exposed, and only 453 have called to avail themselves of those services, is this company using the same type of internet-based phone system, potentially precluding individuals from accessing these services?
Sure. I'm happy to speak to, I think, what, Senator, we shared your concern with the low number, and what we learned is that by way of uptake, on average, this is very aligned with when there are data breaches and credit monitoring services are offered, because I think we felt the same, that felt like a low number comparatively. And so when we were bringing up these questions with data specialists who are much more in the weeds on these topics than we are, this was more aligned with, I think, where they expected to be the uptake rate. With the internet-based phone aspect of it, I want to make sure that we actually have completely accurate responses there. My understanding is that this is a service, and the credit monitoring service is going to be offered by an entity that Insight Global, we asked and forced Insight Global to subcontract with. And so I don't believe that any of the internet-based phone issues would translate then to a subcontractor, but I wouldn't want to speak in complete conclusions without just checking with our team to make sure that that's true. I believe there's too much of a divide there between what Insight Global did and how they performed their operations and the vendor that they brought on to handle the hotline and also do the credit monitoring. But we're happy to check into that.
Okay.
And Senator, I just want to make sure I'm being precise in my language. There are 453 individuals who signed up for the credit monitoring. More have actually called in.
Okay.
And
Very good.
in this instance, we aren't calling people from the hotline number. They have to call in. And so, to Acting Secretary Beam's point, we'll get more information for you on the internet-based phone apparatus, but I don't believe that we're experiencing the same issue to date.
And in terms of effectiveness, when you gave those numbers really quickly, just a quick back of the envelope math up here, 180,000 had not been reached after multiple attempts. Over 376,000 had been reached out to in terms of contact tracing. We know that these internet-based phones provided challenges for individuals who wanted to respond back. Is that something that has been addressed in this future contract?
Sure, and also with the support, I want to be clear, with our 877 line, we've been able to also create a channel whereby folks are able to call back, if that is truly at the fundamental piece of this. A lot of our nurses, particularly when they're kicking off that case investigation, they don't want to necessarily leave a phone line that is their phone line specifically, and so we have a concentrated channel that folks can call back into when they have been reached out to by any of our community health nurses, and then the contact tracing service with PCG will allow them to also call back in.
Very good. Thank you.